हेलो एंड वेलकम टू डू आई लाइक इट, अ शो जहां हम हर बात पे बात करते हैं। और इस एपिसोड में हम बात करेंगे कुछ ऐसी फिल्म्स की जो हमारे इंडिपेंडेंस स्ट्रगल के दौरान सेट है। देखो यार, पूरी दुनिया में हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट्स के बैकड्रॉप पे हजारों फिल्म्स बनती हैं। सम आर बायोपिक्स एंड सम आर फिक्शनल स्टोरीज, बिकॉज सम इवेंट्स डिफाइन अ नेशन सो प्रोफाउंडली दैट उनके अराउंड जो फिल्म्स भी बनती हैं, दे कैरी एन एसेंस ऑफ दैट टाइम स्पेस एंड द माइंड स्पेस ऑफ दोज कैरेक्टर्स। बाहर के देशों में देयर इज द हॉलोकास्ट, वर्ल्ड वॉर्स, 9/11 एंड सो ऑन। उसी तरह हमारे यहाँ आर फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल एंड द सब्सिक्वेंट पार्टीशन हैज बीन द बैकड्रॉप ऑफ सम रियली डाइवर्स एंड थॉट प्रोवोकिंग फिल्म्स। 1942 अ लव स्टोरी से लेके RRR तक इंडियन फिल्म मेकर्स हैव रियली बीन फैसिनेटेड बाय दिस पीरियड, और उन्होंने उसको बहुत अलग अलग लेंसेज से एक्सप्लोर करा है। तो इस एपिसोड में लेट्स चेक आउट सम ऑफ माय फेवरेट फिल्म्स दैट वर सेट ड्यूरिंग द इंडियन फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल and talk about why it's important to keep exploring that time in our nation's history. और देखो यार, देश का सवाल है तो I don't want to miss out any names, so let me just name drop a few films that couldn't fit into these 5 spots, but I really love them. ढूंढ के रिवॉच करना है इन सबको, ठीक है? There's obviously 1942 A Love Story, there's RRR, चिट्टागोंग, रंग दे बसंती, there's गदर, there's the first season of Rocket Boys, है ना? तुम देख रहे हो कि कितनी डाइवर्स लिस्ट है इन जॉनर्स की। So yes, let's now jump to the main list. On number 5, I have my least favorite yet a pretty important film that was released this January only actually. I'm talking about the Rajkumar Santoshi film Gandhi और Godse. Also by the way, अगर इस लिस्ट में 2-3 और spots होते तो I would have definitely included his film on Bhagat Singh in that as well. But yeah, Gandhi और Godse is the only film on this list that you can't legally watch right now. Once it went off screens, it hasn't released on any OTT platforms abhi tak. The film has a pretty interesting premise where Nathuram Godse's attempt to assassinate Gandhi has backfired, and they have a vichar yudh in the prison jahan pe Godse ko rakha hua hai. And it gives a pretty engaging argument कि अगर गांधी जिंदा बच जाते तो क्या इवेंट्स हो सकते थे उसके बाद के। While the film does get dull and tropey in parts, I really like that it swayed away from any kind of extremities when it comes to the characters of these two leads. I remember the director saying in an interview कि गांधी भगवान नहीं है, इंसान है, और गोडसे हैवान नहीं है, इंसान है. And I really feel this line really contextualizes the kind of nuance this film is trying to go for. I've talked about this film in detail in my audio review. You guys should definitely check it out. And अगर कभी OTT पे आए तो ये film जरूर देखना. I think it's a must watch. On number 4, I have a film which, just like Gandhi or Godse, talks about the same event, Mahatma Gandhi's assassination, but from a much more personal lens. Kamal Haasan's Hey Ram revolves around Saket Ram, a Hindu man who is convinced that Mahatma Gandhi is responsible for the partition and the resulting violence, and he plans to assassinate him. But as they move closer to the plan and his assassination, Ram's mind starts changing and he realizes his mistake, but it's too late by then. In his interview with Rahul Gandhi during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, Kamal Haasan said that making this film was a way to say sorry to Gandhi, and the motivations of the Ram character were coming from a young Kamal Haasan's criticism of the Gandhian way, and how he also came along eventually. Again, just like the previous pick, the film is painted in broad strokes, lekin the soul of non-violence and harmony stays intact. Also assembling a power-packed star cast of Shah Rukh Khan, Rani Mukherjee, Hema Malini, Girish Karnad, Nasiruddin Shah as Gandhi was brilliant. In a true sense, it is a film that cannot be made today. तो जो पिछली 2 फिल्म्स थी ना, I liked them more because of their politics, not necessarily because of their craft. I mean, फिल्में अच्छी थी, but they had too many flaws for me to brush over. But this one is an absolute filmmaking masterpiece. Shujit Sarkar's Sardar Udham captures the mind space of Udham Singh and his experiences during the Jallianwala Bagh massacre with bone-chilling empathy. Right from Vicky Kaushal's acting, which by the way was about to be played by Irfan Khan. I recently learned this, and this really makes me look at that performance differently. But the way Vicky captures the vulnerability of the character is so potent. Him questioning himself beech mein, but still maintaining a steadfast focus on his goal. How the music and edit underscores this slow burn happening both internally and externally. मतलब हमें first frame से ही पता चल जाता है कि हुआ क्या है. The assassination scene actually is the first scene of the movie. And the rest of the film tells us कि ये सब उस इंसान ने किया क्यों. And all of that makes sense in the final sequence, colored beautifully in orange and teal, showcasing the fire and the coldness of death all around Udham's character. I won't be over dramatic and say कि I think about this film every day and this film doesn't leave you. But अगर कहीं ऐसा random conversation में विकी कौशल की performance या इस movie का ज़रा सा भी जिक्र हो जाता है, तो I totally get transported into the first time I was watching this film. And थोड़ा ऐसा मेरे को ना time लगता है उस zone में वापस आने में. So I really wish ये movie हमने theaters में देखी होती, because obviously it was a COVID release, but this is a definite watch if you want to, relive some of that time of the Indian freedom struggle, right? The next film represents a phase in my life. देखो, मेरा ना एक time था जब मेरा मंटो का phase चल रहा था. I was in college, I was engrossed in his short stories, his Letters to Uncle Sam वाला series. और जब नंदिता दास मंटो had its first monologue out on India Today, I was hooked. और उसी तभी से मैं सारा ट्रैक कर रहा था कि अच्छा पिक्चर चल रही है, नवाज is playing, and when I watched the film finally, oof, okay. I was a fan of the way Nandita Das weaved Manto's stories into the tales of the partition, really driving home the point कि ये कहानियाँ कितनी real हैं. Whereas at the same time, there are elements of surrealism, farce and so on, but ये कहानियाँ एक real timeline में, exist कर रही हैं. And again, just like Hey Ram, so many power-packed cameos by people like Rishi Kapoor, Javed Akhtar, Ranveer Shori, Paresh Rawal, Gurdas Maan. There are so many people, मतलब मैं एक scene के लिए वो आते हैं and they just work their magic. I have always had tonal issues whenever Manto's stories have been translated on screen. Because, जब ईशर सिंह मरते मरते बोलता है ठंडा गोश्त, it is quite easy for this delivery to get caricaturish and lose this whole sense of torment. Because जब तुम पढ़ते हो ठंडा गोश्त तो तुम्हारे दिमाग में एक image create होती है, but that image on screen isn't necessarily the best. But by a genius use of set design, lighting and camera angles, Nandita Das really brings this eeriness out. और the way टोबा टेक सिंह के टाइम पे मंटो के अंदर का cognitive dissonance एकदम ऐसा कूद के बाहर आ रहा होता है. Now this is one film that I can say this won't leave you, because I feel like मैं जिंदा था उस टाइम पे. तो definitely if you want to literally get transported into that time, Manto is one film from the point of view of a person जो ये अपने आसपास बस ये observe करके लिख रहा है. That's as simple as it gets, right? And my final pick on this list, अब भाई इस फिल्म के बारे में मैं क्या ही कहूँ. I've mentioned this film so many times in other episodes as the best screenplay ever written. I discovered this film थोड़ा late, but when I did, I was blown. I'm obviously talking about Lagaan, the 2001 magnum opus directed by Ashutosh Guwarkar. This film talks about a group of villagers in Champaner who decide to play a cricket match in order to get their tax exempted. अब देखो, जो sports films होती है ना, at least the great ones, उनमें the sports part is just a vessel for a bigger conflict. जैसे चक दे इंडिया में the hockey is just a way for these women to tell all of these people around them कि देखो यार हम भी कुछ कर सकते हैं. The non-sport conflict has to be important enough for us to care about the training montages and the strategies और जो भी सब टीम मिलके आती है, वो ऑन फील्ड तो सही है, बट ऑफ फील्ड उसके क्या इम्प्लीकेशंस है उस पे हमें ज़्यादा फोकस करते हैं हम लोग. और भाई सर्वाइवल से बड़ा क्या कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो सकता है. एज भुवन सेज इन द फिल्म, ये उन लोगों के लिए खेल होगा, हमारे लिए हमारी जिंदगी है. I think every beat of this film hits perfectly with some amazing score from A.R. Rahman, costumes by Bhanu Thaiya, and lyrics by Javed Akhtar. And fun fact, I recently found out that Ashutosh Guwarkar was inspired by Dilip Kumar's Naya Daur for parts of Lagaan. वो भी बहुत ज़बरदस्त फिल्म है, ज़रूर देखना. I think it's India's first sports film about a race between a Tonga and a car. And yes, these were some of my favorite films set during the Indian independence struggle. I think this period of India's history is so fascinating for me to watch as an audience. इतनी अलग-अलग तरह से explore किया है filmmakers ने इस time को. It's very insightful to think about this time in art. So yes, here's to talking about this great nation and all its glory. मेरा नाम था प्रतीक लिद्धू and wish you a very happy Independence Day.